We will start by making our ganache because we would like to cool it down completely till the time our cake is ready. To make the ganache, we will first microwave an entire box of Amul full cream for about a minute. To the microwaved cream, we will add approximately 150 grams of dark chocolate. I am using dark chocolate because this usually balances out the sweetness of the cake. Mixing dark chocolate and the whipped cream is so satisfying and honestly one of my most favorite parts of baking this cake. Here is a quick time lapse to show how it goes, and the end result is a silky, not so sweet chocolate ganache, which can also be used as a spread for the bread that weirdly rhymed. So, moving on. The next step is to make an espresso shot or a coffee concoction. Espresso shot was just easier to say. For this, we are just adding hot water in a tablespoon of instant coffee, and we will also let this aside to cool. Moving on to the dry ingredients, we are going to use a cup of all purpose flour and sieve it to avoid any lumps. Then we will add a cup of powdered sugar and sieve it thoroughly as well. Then we are adding half a cup of cocoa powder and again sieving it to avoid any lumps. Adding a teaspoon each of baking soda and baking powder, along with a pinch of salt to enhance the taste of cocoa powder, and mixing it all really well. For our wet ingredients, we are going to start with half a cup of any flavorless oil, and I personally like to mix my wet ingredients with dry ingredients as and when I'm adding them instead of just dumping all of it together. Next, I have beaten 2 eggs, and to make this cake eggless, you can use half a cup of buttermilk. I did try it once with buttermilk, but it did not rise as well as it did with eggs, and no one in my family has any problem to eggs, so that is what we are going with here. To this, we will add our cool down espresso shot and mixing it well. I know it might not look as promising, but just trust the process. After mixing it just for a couple of minutes, we will get this beautiful thick batter. To this batter, we will add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla essence and then 1/4 cup of milk. Milk, I feel like, is the secret ingredient here, which helps to give our batter the perfect consistency. All our dry and wet ingredients are in there, and now all we have to do is give it one final good mix till all of them are perfectly combined, and then our batter will be ready to go in the microwave. To ensure that our cake does not stick to the baking dish, we will coat a generous amount of any flavorless oil. Once that is done, we will pour in our batter, which again is very satisfying and fell just halfway through it. We will quickly pop this in the microwave for 3.5 minutes. And our cake is ready. We will cut this into 2 equal halves, place it on a small plate, and apply a generous amount of the ganache that we made earlier. By this time, our ganache would be just cool enough to apply it on the cake. And also, I forgot to show, but we do allow our cake to rest for a couple of minutes. On top of that, I'm adding the other half of our cake and will coat each of the sides with the ganache evenly. Smoothing out the edges is another one of my favorite parts. And one thing that I forgot to mention was that for my microwave, it takes me 3.5 minutes to get the perfect bake, but it depends on the different settings. So once you feel like your cake is ready, poke it with a toothpick to see whether or not it's done. But for the time being, the coating of our cake is done, and we are going to finish it with some chopped almonds. You can add any toppings of your choice, but almonds is a favorite at our home. And just like that, our microwave chocolate truffle cake is ready.